I'm here with Mr. Connolly, and we are going to be discussing the HIB policy. The first question is, how far does a student have to go to be punished for HIB? In other words, how does the law distinguish between students who are just joking and students who are actually violating the HIB law?
So the law doesn't distinguish between just joking anymore.
It doesn't?
No. So if it's really the law is really based on the perception of the victim. So if I said something to you and you perceived it to be harassment, intimidation, or bullying, then and I was just joking with you, but you found it offensive, that could constitute HIB.
Will there be a first warning, or will every single incident be treated equally?
I don't have that discretion, so there is no first warning. If a report of HIB or harassment, intimidation, or bullying is brought to me or to our anti-bullying specialist, then we have a procedure that we have to follow no matter what, regardless of whether or not I think it's a real HIB or not. I have to go through a process. I have to go through the interviews. I have to go through the discussion. I have to get statements, and then we make a recommendation to the principal, who then makes his recommendation to the superintendent. So in some way, the principal is the gatekeeper, so to speak. We present the information as it's stated to us. We give him the facts, and then he will make a recommendation of whether or not he feels it was truly HIB and warrants being moved forward. Where before, that decision was really in my hands.
Right.
And I had more luxury to work with people. It depends on the incident, and they're not all dealt with suspension. It doesn't necessarily have to be suspension, although some warrant suspension.
Right.
But I have the discretion to just issue counseling or sensitivity training. I also have I don't really have the discretion. I can make a recommendation for those I can make recommendations for central detentions, Saturday school, and obviously suspension for those incidents or repeated incidents that warrant that.
This law requires our school to have an anti-bullying specialist. Who is our school's anti-bullying specialist?
Our anti-bullying specialist is going to be Ms. Morgenthaler, who is the maternity leave replacement for Ms. Malone. So she's handling she's fielding all of the initial complaints.
How was she selected?
The law is very specific in the type of person that they want to have be the anti-bullying specialist. They want somebody that has a counseling background, a school psychologist background, or somebody with similar training.
Okay.
So, and it's specific that it should not be the principal or the assistant principal.
Has our school had a lot of bullying incidents in the past? Do you think this law is necessary for our high school, specifically like Madison High School, or not really?
It's okay. So yes, we have had bullying in the past. Okay, so I think bullying exists everywhere and at varying degrees. Have we had the type of bullying where it's been so severe that it's a major issue? I don't believe so, but I'm only aware of the things that have come to me.
Right.
So I don't know if somebody is being bullied out in our school that is really hurting as a result of it. So I think it's a good law. I think it's a sound law. I think that if it saves one person, then I think then it has its merit. I think if it makes students think twice about putting a nasty posting up on Facebook or on over text message or BlackBerry Messenger, then I think it's worth it. I think if it saves a kid from being ridiculed in the locker room because he's a freshman and somebody else is a senior, and being knocked around, I think that then that's a good thing.
How many incidents have been reported so far at our high school?
I don't have the number on the top of my head, but I think there was 8 reported allegations, and I think maybe 4 were. I'm not positive on that.
No, roughly.
But I think we're batting about 50%.
Oh my gosh.
And some of them are just very minor things, but they
Right.
do, I mean, under the new definition, they constitute HIV. So that the new definition is very broad and encompasses a lot more than what the old definition of HIV did.
Are these incidents being reported by teachers or students
Both.
or both?
By both. Yeah.
And how much time would you say you spend dealing with HIV, and do you think it's an effective use of your time?
HIV takes a lot of time because of the new process. Is it an effective use of my time? Yes, I think it is, because I go back to what I said. If the process prevents people from feeling harassed, intimidated, or bullied and not wanting to come to school, or feeling uncomfortable in school or unsafe in school, then I think that that's an effective use of my time. That's kind of like my job here, is to ensure that people feel like they can come here and be safe and comfortable. You know, the one thing I've said to people when they come in here is, would you want to walk into a building and not feel safe? And if you think about it that way, the answer is no.
Right.
So then I do think it's an effective use of my time.